students! In our previous video, we learned about binary fission and how bacteria and simple unicellular organisms like amoeba reproduce by binary fission. Today we will learn about another method of asexual reproduction, that is budding. In this process, a new organism is developed from a small, particular part or site of the parent's body. A bud that is formed detaches to develop into a new organism. This newly developed organism remains attached to parent's body till it grows further. It then separates out from the parent organism when it gets mature by leaving scar on a parent body. As this is asexual reproduction, the newly developed organism is a replica of the parent and is genetically identical to it. For example, both the hydra and yeast reproduce by the process of budding. So let's see budding in yeast first. Yeasts are unicellular eukaryotic microorganisms, although some are multicellular, belonging to kingdom fungi. They are generally larger than bacteria, and they typically measure about 3 to 4 micrometer in diameter. Yeast cells reproduce asexually by an asymmetric division process called budding. In yeast, budding usually occurs during the abundant supply of nutrition. It involves various steps like bud formation, termination of bud, and differentiation into individual. This is a yeast cell. Can you observe a small protuberance or outgrowth or a bulge on the parent cell? This is called the small bud, which then grows to full size and then forms a matured bud. Later, the nucleus of the parent cell splits into the daughter nucleus and then migrates into the daughter cell. Along with the nucleus, the cytoplasm also equally divides into the daughter cells. The bud detaches from the mother's body by forming a constriction at the base. Budding will repeat to form a chain of bud cells. The daughter cell produced during budding process are generally smaller than the mother cell. With time, they grow and develop to the original size. After repeated divisions, each daughter cell will grow and become individual yeast. Now let's take a look at what's happening in hydra right now. Hydra is exclusively a freshwater organism. Very small, just half a centimeter long. It is a cnidarian having a tube-like body structure that is made up of head and the lower body. Head is composed of tentacles, a distal end, and there is a foot at the opposite end of the body. Now, do you see this marked portion? Yes, it is the body of hydra. Now, can you just spot a small outgrowth on the body of this hydra? Yes, here it is. This outgrowth is formed due to repeated mitotic cell divisions of special cells called as generative cells, which are present at this particular spot. Now students, name itself says these are generative cells. So they regenerate or they give rise to new individual from the parent body. This bud develops and grows outwards as the time passes. It receives proteins and all the nutrition from the parent hydra to grow and develop into a baby hydra. They grow healthy and their growth starts by developing their mouth and small tentacles. And at this stage, it will resemble the parent hydra. And what happens now? Finally, this baby hydra gets separated from its parent body and becomes an independent organism. Now students, so far what we have seen is a kind of asexual reproduction where a new individual develops from a small part of a parent called bud. But remember that this comparison is just a small tip for you to remember budding. Now, this somewhat resembles to the buds that are formed in the flowers. In flowers also, buds are small, closed, and are miniatures of full-blown flowers. With time, they grow in size, they become larger and bloom up and they open up, which we call it as blooming of flowers. Similarly, bud on animal grows, develops and becomes full-grown new individual. Now here in animals, it is very important for you to note that bud remains attached to the parent body and receives all the nutrition from the parent. If it separates from this body, that is its parent, too soon without fully developed body, it will perish because it will be unable to survive on its own and derive nutrition. So students, what we have seen is budding in this video. We will continue to learn the another form of asexual reproduction, that is fragmentation and regeneration, in our next video.